2017 at 2 p.m. in Council Chambers. And we'll call the meeting to order. And first is the adoption of some regular open minutes from February the 6th. Thank you. Councillor King, Councillor Campbell, all in favour? Thank you. I should also point out that Councillor Rhodes has normally been able to call in, but I think he's on the road today and traveling, so he is not able to call in and join us today. Business arising from prior minutes. I don't believe there's any. And introduction of late items. We have that the agenda of February the 20th be adopted with Rural Area Twinning Phase 1, Contract 2, System 8, be moved to Water Matters Number 2. Could I have somebody move that, please? Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Youngberg. All in favour. Thank you. Do we need to approve the agenda? No, that's been done. Good. Okay. And first up then is some water matters. And this is from Water Districts 8 and 9 financial accounts to report on expenditures from accounts payable for water councillors and council approval, and Water District cash requirements to February the 20th, 2017 are in the amount of $17,589.47 for council approval. So, thank you. Councillor Moreira, Councillor Ray, all in favour. Thank you. And now is the second one there, which is the rural twinning, Phase 1, and that would be a report from Mr. Dinwiddie, please.
Thank you, Member Kortoff. In accordance with conditions of the town's water system's operating permit as issued by IHA, options for System 8 and 9 compliance with the Drinking Water Act were assessed in 2009. In a report dated August 2008, a long-range compliance plan is described comprising a twin domestic water system in the service areas of Systems 8 and 9, which will be supplied by the town's municipal systems wells. This project is the second phase in the implementation of the plan to comply with IHA and drinking water protection regulations. This project will continue the twin irrigation system number 8 and consists of the following work: 3,200 meters of 250 millimeter diameter PVC water main and appurtenances, 1,200 meters of 200 millimeter diameter PVC water main and appurtenances, 1,000 meters of 150 and 100 millimeter diameter PVC water main and appurtenances, 1,000 meters of water service tubing, 3 board crossings of highway number 97, 30 water meter pit chambers, and 6,000 square meters of pavement restoration. And you can look at True Consulting's report if you would like more detailed costing information. The implications for the community are improved water quality for the residents of irrigation system number 8 and the elimination of the need to issue an annual boil water notice in irrigation system number 8 users from April to November. Organizationally, an expansion of the town's domestic water system into irrigation system number 8. Budget-wise, the Grizzly excavating bid is $878,448.65 less than the only other bid for this project submitted by Don Mann Excavating. It should be noted that the Roberts Point water main extension component of this contract will be entirely paid for by the benefiting property owners of that area. If Roberts Point property owners do not wish to participate in this contract, then that section of the contract will be deleted from this project. The value with taxes is $368,445. The overall contract budget for this entire project will remain within the overall $3,723,000 total budget for the rural water twinning project. Significant dates: the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure will only allow work to take place in the Highway 97 right-of-way prior to May 22nd of 2017. Therefore, it is recommended that this contract be awarded as soon as possible. Sustainability: improved water quality for the residents of irrigation system number 8. The options before Council are that Council award Rural Area Twinning Phase 1, Contract Number 2, System 8 to Grizzly Excavating Limited for $1,931,727. It includes taxes. Option number 2 is that Council not award Rural Area Twinning Phase 1, Contract Number 2, System 8 to Grizzly Excavating Limited. Option number 3 is that Council requests additional information prior to making a decision. Administration recommends that Council adopt option number 1.
Thank you. Could I ask a question? Could you explain, please, where $2 million is going to come from?
Well, we have a grant, the $3,723,000 grant, I think it was tax
So
grant.
part of it has been used, though, for the first.
Yep, so 2/3 is being funded through grant funding, and the balance is through operating and reserve funds out of the water fund.
Okay.
And we had that in our 5-year financial plan as well.
Yes. Just, it seems like a huge amount of money that to be thrown out there that, nobody question it. So
Yeah.
thank you
If you
very
say
much.
it fast, it's not bad, really.
Thank you. Council? Yes.
I move that council award Rural Area Twinning Phase 1, Contract Number 2, System 8 to Grizzly Excavating Limited for $1,931,727, inclusive of GST.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Youngberg. Interesting, before we vote, that there was such a difference between the two contracts. And
Don Man Excavating is from Victoria, so I
Yes.
imagine that the huge difference was because they'd have to bring their forces here.
But we're always happy when we can award a contract to a local company, and that's pretty local. So, all in favor of this? Thank you very much. Next is the Okanagan Basin Water Board meeting highlights. I was not at the meeting. I was stuck in a snowdrift in the Greyhound bus in Manning Park, and so at the time that this meeting was going on, so my alternate, who is Area A, Mark Pendergraft, attended. I just want to point out a couple of things that are on there. There has been a new chair elected, and it is Kelowna City Councillor Tracy Gray, who's very knowledgeable about water issues, and she has been elected the chair. And you will see on there that OBWB is really pushing the province for a stronger muscle response. This is going to continue, I'm pretty sure. So OBWB has written several letters concerning the zebra quagga mussels to not only provincial but federal bodies, because we feel it's so important. And the Okanagan residents will be provided a guide to navigate new groundwater registrations, and the board has developed a guide for homeowners with a well and questions about new groundwater licensing regulations, and that's on there, and it's really something that should be looked at because it's fairly new, the Water Sustainability Act, and so people need to understand that a little better, and you need to protect yourself if you happen to be on a property that has a well. So those are the items that are on the Okanagan Basin Water Board, and we need someone, please, to that the correspondence be received and filed. Thank you, Councillor Campbell, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor. Thank you. And next is the municipal ticket. MTI. Information. Amendment bylaw. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. So before council is the MTI Amendment Bylaw 1279.11. The Cemetery and Waste Services bylaws were updated in 2016. This amendment bylaw is to update the MTI's bylaw schedules so that they correctly tie into our new revised bylaws. Bylaw Amendment 1279.11 2017 received first 3 readings on February 6, 2017. Schedule 1, Schedule 5, and Schedule 18 are being updated in the MTI Amendment Bylaw 1279.11. Implications: organizationally, there's no changes. Budgets, no changes. Significant dates: consideration of adoption February 20th. Options before council to adopt MTI Amendment Bylaw 1279.11 2017. Option 2, to rescind third reading and make further amendments and reread Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw 1279.11 2017 for a third time, or Option 3, to not adopt it this time. And the recommendation is option number 1. This will allow the MTI bylaw to be up to date with the town's current bylaws.
Thank you very much. Councillor Campbell, Councillor Youngberg, we've dealt with this before. It's just a matter of allowing this bylaw to be adopted. So, all in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next is the Business License Amendment Bylaw. Our Senior Planner, Dilla Swan.
All right, thank you. So the purpose of this report is to request that Council give first, second, and third readings to the attached Business License Amendment Bylaw number 1045.33, 2017. The bylaw proposes to include applicable fees for the use of municipal parking stalls under the stationary downtown street vendor category. While Planning and Development Services will be preparing a new and updated business license bylaw later this year, staff recommends that a housekeeping amendment be made to Schedule A license fees in the interim prior to the release of this year's street food vendor expressions of interest next month. When the business license bylaw was amended in 2009 to include provisions for stationary and mobile street vending, stationary vendors on municipal land were only permitted to operate within a municipal park delineated on the Schedule D map of the business license bylaw. In 2014, Council then approved the street food vendor selection and approval policy in order to implement a systematic approach in attracting and selecting food vendors based on an annual quota system. Under this policy, the scope of municipal land vending sites expanded to also permit stationary vendors to operate in public parking spaces within the C1 downtown commercial zone off of Main Street. However, Schedule A license fees of the business license bylaw had not been updated to capture the use of these downtown parking spaces as municipal vending sites. Therefore, this amendment bylaw proposes to include the monthly license to use fee and additional fee for each parking stall consumed for the stationary downtown street vendor category, similar to the stationary park vendor category. In terms of implications for the community, it would be to continue to provide prospective street food vendors the option to operate as a stationary downtown street vendor while ensuring that vending site fees are also applicable to this category. Organizationally, this amendment will be consolidated into a new updated version of the business license bylaw prepared by Planning and Development Services later this year. In terms of budget, the town will gain more return for the use of public property. Significant dates: if Council gives the amendment bylaw first 3 readings today, followed by bylaw adoption on March the 6th, staff proposes to advertise the street food vending expressions of interest for 2 consecutive weeks, starting on March the 8th, with a submission closing date on March the 22nd. Planning and Development Services will then evaluate the proposals received and forward recommendations to Council at the beginning of April. Compared to last year, so last year's expressions of interest was released at the end of April of 2016, this year's proposed timeline will allow selected vendors the ability to apply for a business license earlier. And lastly, in terms of sustainability, the street food vending program aims to attract and select quality food vendors to serve both residents and visitors. In terms of options for Council, option number 1, that Council give first, second, and third readings to Business License Amendment Bylaw number 1045.33, 2017. Option number 2 is that Council request additional information or further revisions to the bylaw before proceeding further. And option number 3, Council does not take any further action and the bylaw will be abandoned. And staff's recommendation is option number 1.
Thank you very much. I had to read this a couple of times to try and figure out exactly what it was. So it's really a wording thing that you have in a more an inclusive.
It's a text amendment change, yes.
So I think it's a really good idea because I think last year we had a little bit of difficulty getting people to become vendors, and I think we only had one, and I don't even believe it was for the entire summer. So I think this allows people, the idea of getting organized a little earlier. Am I correct?
Thank you,
Councillor
Madam.
Payne.
I just had a question. When you talk about on the public parking spaces in downtown C1, is that actually on the? Could that actually be on the street?
It's so under the street food vending program, there are 4 different categories.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes. So if an applicant is applying to be a downtown street vendor, then they would be located along one of the streets in one of the parking stalls. But they have to be off of Main Street.
Okay.
Well, the way I read it says on public spaces in downtown C1 zone off Main Street. So could that be just around the corner then?
Off of Main Street, so it could be along one of the side streets.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just want clarity. Okay.
Okay. So would somebody like to make a motion? Councillor Campbell?
I move that council gives first, second, and third reading to Business License Amendment Bylaw number 1045.33, 2017.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion about it? All in favor? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And next is, there's no other business things, so we are going to reports. And this would be, find it in here. General net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. And this is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for council to receive. So general cash requirements are in the amount of, to February the 20th, are in the amount of $384,926.17. And Sun Bowl cash requirements, $9,165.50. And those will be done by consensus. And net payroll accounts of $69,669.43 for information. And do I need to have those? We're done. Okay with that. And next we have the CAO report.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the activities the administration has been involved in for the last couple of weeks. Starting first in community services. The community services grants are now open, and they've received a number of applications. The deadline for submissions is February 24th, last Friday of the month, and information is available online on the town's website. Staff has been working on a tree grant application for Canada's 150 celebration. The spring-summer leisure guides have gone to print, including some new programs, including drumming, lawn bowling, and gymnastics. The family skate day at Sun Bowl Arena went very well. 80 to 90 people were in attendance, and this was supported through a grant of the province of BC. And staff is preparing for the annual volunteer appreciation luncheon. In terms of public works, painting of various pump houses throughout the town continues, repairing barricades, and ensuring that our storm drains are clear to handle off the runway of the spring melt, hopefully spring melt. Mm-hmm. In terms of myself, I got word this week that the $10,000 grant application to the Rural Dividend Program for planning of the bike trail between Lakeshore Drive to Cottonwood was denied. We are continuing to work on installing the lift station for the Richter property, and continuing to work on a new contract for the waste pickup. This last week, just an update. I know that everybody's eagerly awaiting information on the policing situation, policing service contract here in town. I had the opportunity to have discussions with the province representatives on this matter, and it was more of a formal meeting over the phone of who everybody was, and discussed some various issues. But the bottom line is we still don't have any additional information. They plan to send us a package this week, sometimes this week, that will outline what the recommended levels of service are going to be, and the costs that are attached to it. We are still working on a deadline of April 1 for implementation, so hopefully we do get the information as soon as possible so that we can work our budget package together as well. So that's all we have on that particular matter at this time. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you. Could we have a motion to accept the CAO report? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Campbell. And now to councillor reports. Councillor Youngberg, you're first.
Thank you. Just a few things throughout the last couple of weeks. Ladies Bronxville was held, and we had 22 teams this year, which has been a little bit of an improvement. And we actually had 2 teams from Hope that couldn't make it through Highway 3, so because of all the snow. So we had some sad faces because they haven't been a participant in our Bronxville for a long time. But anyways, it was a very big success, and girls went home with little prizes, and fun was had by all. I attended the library meeting on Wednesday, February the 15th, and just like to relate that the Kelowna Library is going through major renovations, and it is one beautiful building, and they have branched off into all forms of technology, teaching the young children all sorts of little tiny gizmos I know nothing about, but they were raspberry nets, and they were Kit Kats, and all these sorts of things that really do expose a lot of information regarding recent technology. And as far as the other side of some of the concerns that we have on the board, we have a lot of suspicious characters going all through the Kelowna Library, the Vernon Library, and there's security that's had to be hired. And so all of a sudden they have some great respect for small community libraries because we don't happen to have those issues as of yet. And we certainly hope that's not going to affect our area. But the library focus is changing dramatically, so anyone who would like to visit our library and see how Georgia has improved it would sure be welcomed by Georgia. Please get a library card and do visit once in a while. And the next event that I'm excited about is on Sunday. We're having an Oscars party at the Sage Pub, and it's a fundraiser for our local theater, and where we're going to try and raise funds for some of the lighting and sound system and drapes and paint and all sorts of things that the drama director, Sarah Gilchrist, is after. So that should be a fun event. That's it for today.
Thank you very much. I understand, too, that that library usage in the entire Okanagan Regional Library is up, and that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to point that out to Councillor Rhodes when he gets back.
Yes.
Okay, Councillor Rhodes is not here, so we'll go to Councillor Campbell.
I have no report today.
Okay, thank you. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank the Coyotes for another great season of entertainment and really just wish them the best in the finals. So.
Oh, good, thank you. And I just had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and CAO Romanko has talked to you about policing concerns, and I know that that's on the top of everybody's agenda right now. We just don't know enough about it, but we certainly will do our bit to try and figure out how it's going to affect all the people in the town and the surrounding area, and we will certainly inform people once we know. But they have given us a very short timeline to deal with this, and yet we can't really deal with it at this point because we haven't got the correct information. So we will keep that going. The regional district of Okanagan-Similkameen, which I attend every 2 weeks, we had the Daniel Pizarro from the BC Transit was at our meeting last week, and they do have an integrated Okanagan-Similkameen transit plan that has been developed with consultation from all of the communities. And there's going to be a new reader's guide and new fare information. And I know that Ms. Van Vienen from our staff has been very involved with this as well, and so we look forward to having that come out very soon. And that will increase ridership, we assume, from here up to Kelowna and over to Princeton. And so we're all involved in this, trying to work together to make this a more efficient and usable system. I was at a Highway 3 Coalition meeting in Osoyoos not a week or so ago, and this is the mayors from Hope to the Alberta border that are looking at trying to sort of keep the Highway 3 in the news and not just assume that everybody needs to go Highway 1 or the Coquihalla, but Highway 3 is a good when it's open, but then that, to be fair, all of the roads were closed at one point. So I am one of the 6 mayors that's on a tourism committee, so we're looking at making this a really interesting way of traveling through the South Okanagan and all the way over to the border. So it's working out very well because we have Destination BC helping us. So I've been at several meetings about that. I'd just like to point out that the Desert Center, Denise Eastlick was here this morning and talked to us about the lectures that are on there at Watermark. I believe there was one on February the 11th. The next one's March 11th. I think there's another one at the end of March and one at the beginning of or halfway through April. Really interesting, well worth going. They're, I think, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, and that schedule is certainly available on their website. And the last thing is that I keep getting updates on all the sports teams in our in our town, not just the Coyotes, who've done very well, but the boys basketball tournament is here this weekend, and if the boys do well, they could go to provincials, as well as several of our hockey teams who seem to be doing very well and could be headed off to provincials in many areas too. So we just wish them all the good luck and play well and have fun. And we appreciate having a lot of the teams come and have tournaments here in the town. So it makes our town quite lively. So just before I sign off, please know that there are 2 public hearings today. They start at 4:30, and they will go back to back. So if anybody's interested on the it's the Lakeshore property over across from Walnut Beach. There's the owner of that development is going to be here to talk about that. People are interested. And also the regional growth strategy is the second one. So come out and listen and ask questions is what we suggest. And that's all for today. Thank you very much. And could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. Thank you.